According to the German market research company Statista, Vietnam's retail market turnover was over 80 billion US dollars in 2014 and could reach 100 billion US dollars by 2016. In 2015, the retail market has witnessed an exciting year. The number of M&A cases increased, namely Vinmart acquired Ocean Mart, Central Growth acquired 49% equity of NHK Investment, New Technology and Solutions Development Company, the owner of Vincom Center. In 2015, purchasing power is also supported when consumers in Vietnam are more confident and Vietnam's financial conditions and economic prospects are improved. According to ANZ, Vietnam's average index of the past 11 months reached 139.4 points, 3.4 points higher than the same period in 2014. Hence, the accumulated retail sales of goods and revenue from the consumer services increased by 9.4% in 11 months. If excluding the price, the index increased by 8.3%, higher than the increase of 6.5% of the same period. With the population of around 90 million people, young labor force, and increasing per capita income, Vietnam's retail market is considered a fertile ground for investors at home and abroad.
Hello, you are watching Sharing Vietnam on VTC 10. Asia-Pacific region continues to be the potential destination for investors regarding the need for space expansion. This region especially attracts international retail brands due to the increase in the middle class, demographic characteristics, and the pace of urbanization, among which Vietnam is considered as one appealing market for the foreign retail brands. Today, we will have a small talk with Mr. Theodore Knipfing, head of Cushman Wakefield's APAC Retail Services, to discuss the opportunities of the retail market in Vietnam. Hello, Mr. Knipfing. Thank you for joining us today. As 2015 is coming to an end, how do you assess the retail market of Asia in general and Vietnam in particular during the past year?
It's been an interesting year for retail. I think it's hard to categorize Asia as a whole, but if we had to, I think overall Asia has been one of the more successful retail markets in the world. There's a lot of growth still in Southeast Asia. Japan has had an amazingly good year as well. And Korea is also recovering now from some hard times early in the year with the MERS outbreak. So overall, it's been a very good year. With Vietnam, I think all the indications are good. Per capita income is growing. The economy is growing at a good rate. In terms of TPP and ASEAN regulations, deregulation, and closer cooperation, all of that had a very good year, I think. So all the indications are that the economy and retail in particular are doing very well.
In Vietnam, there have been many M&A deals in the real estate industry. At the same time, the retail space supply has increased significantly in big cities. What is your opinion on these successes?
With regards to the M&A, I think it's a good sign. It's a sign that a lot of international companies are interested in Vietnam and they want to get a piece of the action. So the economy is growing, retail is growing. At the same time, I would caution that even though all the economic indicators are growing, it still takes time for a retail market to mature. The vast majority of Vietnamese have not historically shopped in shopping centers. So, hard things are one aspect, but there's also the soft side. People have to learn to change their habits and start shopping in shopping centers versus wet markets, for example, and that takes time. Even if your salary goes up by 30% in 2 years, doesn't mean that you're suddenly going to spend all your money in shopping centers.
How do you assess the competitiveness and ability of Vietnamese retail brands such as Vingroup, Mart, and Co-op Mart?
The local players always have an advantage. They know the local consumer better than international players. However, the international players have more experience in running shopping centers. So I think in the end, domestic players like Vingroup will do very well, but international retailers or international developers will also do well. Those from Japan, Singapore, everyone has something to bring to the table, and hopefully they will both coexist and learn from each other.
Aeon Mall had an impressive debut at the end of last November in Long Biên District, Hanoi. So far, this commercial center has attracted many visitors every day. That is regarded as a successful start of this brand in the northern market in Vietnam, following the success in Ho Chi Minh City and Bình Dương province in recent years. In my opinion, Vietnam's retail market is potential. Vietnam's population is growing, the number of young families increases, quantity of life is also improved. Also, suburban areas are developed. That's why we enter this market. We expect that there will be 20 Aeon malls in Vietnam, and especially 6 to 7 malls in Hanoi. In 2015, Robins, the Central Retail's first shopping center outside the territory of Thailand, has opened 2 centers in 2 economic cities of Vietnam, Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. Following the Central Retail, other retailers including Marks and Spencer has marked its presence in Vietnam. What's more, Walmart, US leading retailer, also intended to enter Vietnam market, but no plans are announced yet. The French Auchan Group, rival of the giants like Walmart, Carrefour, Lotte, Metro, Bixi, also signed a strategic cooperation agreement with the military petrochemical joint stock company. Along with that, the floor lease contract of Long Biên Mipec Trade Center was signed.
Bắt đầu từ năm 2014-2015 thì tất cả những cái dòng thuế cho các cái nước mà trong ASEAN với nhau á, thì nó đã giảm rất là mạnh. Nó chỉ còn là 0 đến 5% thôi. Thì cái điều đó nó cũng giúp cho công ty, tức là nó cũng là một trong những cái lý do để mà công ty quyết định là phát triển rất là lớn ở Việt Nam, đầu tư rất là lớn ở Việt Nam.
As planned by the Ministry of Industry and Trade, by 2020, Vietnam will have 1,200 supermarkets, 157 shopping malls, and 180 commercial centers. The share of modern retail will also be raised to 45% from the current figure of 25%. From now to 2020, the market will witness many large-scale invasion of the major brands in the world. Many experts predicted the retail market in 2016 would be more competitive, which requires domestic companies to improve their capacity.
In the past 2 years, a considerable number of international retail brands have entered Vietnam's market. Why do you think these international brands choose Vietnam?
Vietnam is a very vibrant market, and each international retailer is struggling in their home market. Most international retailers are reaching saturation in their home market. That's why they go abroad. And Vietnam is one of the most exciting markets in Asia right now. Again, all the indicators are good. Further deregulation, these notable agreements signed this year on the international stage, a growing per capita income, a growing household income, growing urbanization. So all these signs and the indicators are going for Vietnam.
Could you please share your experience of other countries attracting investment from foreign retail brands?
One of the most important things that international retailers look for is consistency. Things have to be consistent enough to allow them to generate the sort of economy of scale, again, that they need to make profit. So what I mean is the systems the processes, the procedures by which to enter the market and grow their businesses has to be consistent and transparent. So this will be very important for Vietnam in the coming years as international retailers look at the market. Things like the ENT can improve, certainly. Many international retailers that I have spoken to, they have some confusion about the ENT and the criteria for ENT. They want to meet the criteria and work with Vietnam and the government to make it happen, but there's still some confusion as to what exactly the criteria is. So kind of clearing these sort of things, making it more transparent and clear will, I think, spur more entry by international brands.
Facing these opportunities and challenges, how should local retail businesses change to adapt?
I think local players have a lot of things going for them. Namely, they understand the local consumer better than international brands. A shopping center that just drops a whole group of international retailers into Vietnam and expects it to do well will be disappointed. At the same time, local players and local retailers have to learn from international retailers and best in practices to kind of get the best of the international and also combine that with the best of the local market. And really, they have to be flexible and nimble to match the market, but also the changing nature of the retail market. Retail changes always in any country, but the change is even swifter and faster in growing economies like Vietnam.
Is the emergence of convenience store chains in Vietnam such as Shop & Go or Kmart the new trend of the market, despite previous failures of similar chains?
Many things in life are about timing. So, for example, if you bought Apple stock in the early 80s, you would have lost all your money at certain periods. If you bought Apple stock later, you would have become a millionaire. And so in the same way, perhaps for some types of retail, they were too soon, too early for the market. But as the country urbanizes, as the population becomes more white collar, as people come to the cities, as people's habits change, I think these convenience stores will do better and better. This has been proven in markets like China, Korea, and in other Southeast Asian countries as well. So I think it's not a question of if, but only a question of when they will succeed.
Finally, what are your predictions of the Vietnam retail market in the coming time, especially when 2016 is coming, along with the establishment of the AEC?
As I said earlier, everything is going for Vietnam. The indicators, the economic indicators are all healthy, but I would also caution that change doesn't happen overnight. New deregulation or new treaties don't change a retail market overnight. So Vietnam is really in that growth period right now, both on the soft and hard side, but I caution against expecting changes in the international trade scene and the international trade agreements suddenly changing things overnight, because it's only part of the picture.
Thank you for sharing your insights with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Our show is coming to an end. If you have any questions or feedback, please email us at sharingvietnam@netvittv.net. Thank you for watching. Goodbye and see you again.